Now today we're gonna be eating the season with pasta, prosciutto, and peas. Because right now my farmer's market is absolutely booming with peas. And it's a delicious, light summer pasta I absolutely love to make. And there's a lot of hate out there towards peas. I get it, I didn't like it as a kid either. And for those haters, I say, grow up. I guarantee this recipe is gonna change your mind. And so right here, I have about 3 pounds of English peas, and I have a pint of sugar snap peas. This isn't always available. Few weeks, you can really get these in their prime. And even when you do find them in their prime, they are annoying, as you'll see. You need a lot to yield a little, especially for the English peas. So say it's not in season, you're just gonna use a frozen bag of some good peas. These are already shucked, frozen at the peak of their freshness and super sweet. And what you'll come to find out is when you buy fresh peas, they'll start off sweet and then eventually over time develop a starchiness as they age and lose their luster. So many times people will suggest this is even better than fresh peas, and they're kind of right. But if you can get fresh, buy them and use them fast. Now to handle these, it's very simple. For the English peas, we're going to just pop that top off and rip off this little ribbon. Exposes a little seam that you can just use your thumbs to pop open like that, and you'll expose the little peas in the pot. Then we can just run our finger down and get them in the bowl. Besides freshness of the frozen peas, as you can see, the other benefit to that is convenience. It's gonna take you a minute to go through and shuck all the peas out of these pods, and there's only like 5 peas in each pod. So I'm willing to do this about once or twice a year. Every other time I'll make this, I'm relying on frozen peas. And now we have to remove the peas because unlike sugar snap peas, the English pea shell is a little too thick and fibrous to be edible. Why sugar snap peas are my favorite is because they're like these peas. They're a little bit sweeter. The shell's edible, kind of like the perfect pea. So yeah, we're at 10.5 ounces. That should be great. Now for the sugar snap peas, same idea. Pull that off. The only difference is this is crunchy, juicy, sweet, and edible, the whole thing. So what I'm gonna do is just pull off that stem and that little ribbon that's attached. And then what I'm gonna do is just sort of take one, cut them like that into maybe like 3 smaller bite-sized pieces. Next up, I've got 1 small onion here, and from the farmer's market, I got some beautiful fresh hardneck stem garlic. Hardneck differs from softneck, which is the one you probably see in your supermarket that has lots of different layers. With this, you get bigger bulbs in 1 layer around the stem. When you get them fresh, it's kind of like it's moist. It's not dried out yet. So even like peeling the clove out of the paper's not even dry. So there you get your beautiful fresh garlic. These are still young, so I'm gonna use 3 smaller ones. So you just wanna slice the top off the onion and then cut that in half. And then we're going to cut really thin slices around the curvature of the onion, and then we can adjust the onion and cut that into a really fine dice. I think that's enough onion. And then just cut those garlic cloves in half and then slice them as thin as you can. And just throw that into the bowl with the onions. Next up, we've got our prosciutto, and at the store you can kind of find it diced up sometimes. It's kind of easier than dicing it up yourself. And I found it in these thick pieces. I'm just gonna process it down into a bit of a smaller dice just so it incorporates better into the pasta. Food processor might do that a bit easier than a knife. We've got everything chopped. We just need a little bit of stock, a little lemon, and some Parmigiano cheese. You can use pecorino too as well. I'm just gonna bring a pot of water up to the boil, and while that gets hot, we can start to build our sauce. Now we're ready to get cooking. And today I'll be using the stainless steel collection by our sponsor today, Made In. Made In designs professional quality products for the home cook, and they offer the most comprehensive collection of pots, pans, serveware, and everything else you might need to cook and serve food in a home kitchen. I love Made In because they sell basically everything. They sell to both chefs and home cooks, so you know it's good stuff. And everything is in the style that I'd like. Made In stainless clad pans are crafted in Italy and made of a premium 5-ply stainless steel material, which allows for superior heat retention, even heating, and ease of heat control. The handles are designed to stay cool on the stovetop, and they're ergonomical to help balance the pan. And for me, when choosing any pan, besides the quality of the steel, the most important thing to me is the handle. It can't be too round and it can't be too sharp, and Made In's is just right. And the curvature of the walls are great for flipping and containing sauces. All of this is why Made In has received over 100,000 5-star reviews from both the press and happy customers. So if you're looking to gear up on some of the best pans in the business, visit my link down in the description for a special discount, and let's get this pasta cooking. In a pot preheated on medium-high heat, or in my case, I'm using the 3-quart made-in saucier, add a tablespoon of olive oil, and then add in the chopped prosciutto. Prosciutto doesn't have as much fat as, say, guanciale or pancetta, so a little bit of oil helps it get going. Cook the prosciutto until lightly golden brown and the fat starts to render out into the pan. Once browned, remove the prosciutto with a slotted spoon, trying to reserve as much of that fat in the pan as possible. Then to that fat, add in the onions and begin to sweat those out, cooking them until their juices release and the onions become soft and translucent. For a little kick, I like to add a little chili flake. Then once the onions have softened, we can add in the shelled peas, a knob of butter, and a bit of salt, and get those tossed in the fat. Once they've cooked for a minute or two, then we can add in about 1 or 2 ladles or about 2 cups of the broth. I'm gonna bring the broth up to a boil and cook that for about 3 to 5 minutes. Season that broth with a little bit of salt, and then after a few minutes of cooking, I'm gonna take my trusty little NutriBullet, which is great for pureeing these small batches without a big blender, and I'm gonna pull out about 2/3 of the peas in the broth, making sure to leave a good amount of the whole peas in the pan, and then we can turn those peas into a pea puree. So now I've got my little portion of peas in my NutriBullet, and I'm gonna go and add a few cubes of ice cubes right inside. We'll toss in some basil, lemon juice, 2 juicy cheeks full. Screw on the top. And then blend until a smooth cream forms. You got a beautiful green, vibrant cream. Now to some salted boiling water, I'm gonna go with some fusilli, which takes about 9 minutes to cook till al dente. For this dish, I like fusilli because the peas and prosciutto get stuck in the grooves. Over to the saucepan, I'm going to return the pea puree to the pot and stir it all together to form the sauce. It should be bright green, thick, and delicious. Give it a taste for some seasoning and adjust it if needed. Then set that sauce on the back burner on low heat while I get my made-in stainless steel frying pan on the stove, because I'm only making enough for me today. The pasta is about a minute away from being al dente, so with about 30 seconds to a minute left on the pasta, I'm gonna drop in the sugar snap peas to quickly blanch them. Once the pasta is cooked, transfer the snap peas and the pasta to the new pan and add in some of that sauce to the pasta to marry the two. If it needs a little bit more sauce, spoon some over the top as necessary, and then we're gonna go in and add in most of the prosciutto, reserving some for garnish. Once everything is done and combined and has come together with the heat off, finish with some of the grated cheese and mix that into the pasta until it's fully incorporated and melted and beautiful. Now we're ready to plate. Now to plate, we simply need to put a mound of that pasta right into a nice bowl, and then we can garnish it with some of that reserved diced prosciutto. A final squeeze of lemon juice to brighten up the whole mix, then some fresh basil leaves, and then a final sprinkle of grated cheese. And then just a little bit of extra virgin olive oil to finish. It's amazing, and it's good with just those peas, but with these little seasonal additions, it gives you all the comfort a pasta should give, but with all those beautiful summer flavors in there. This is a banger. Recipe for this one's gonna be down in the description. That's all that I have today. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care of yourself and go feed yourself.